The transformation happened instantly and eternally all at once. Hana's consciousness exploded outward, spreading across the galaxy at the speed of thought. She was no longer in one place. She was in 47 places simultaneously. Every defense station, every ancient weapon, every point in the network. For a moment, the pain was infinite. Her mind stretched beyond what any human was meant to experience. She could feel millions of light years at once, see billions of stars, sense trillions of lives scattered across thousands of worlds. Then the pain faded, and Hana understood she wasn't dead. She was everywhere. The network activated fully. Golden light erupted from all 47 defense stations simultaneously. Lines of pure energy connected them, forming a web that wrapped around the entire galaxy. The Voidborn, caught in the sudden surge of reality being enforced, screamed. Their formless shapes twisted and writhed. The tears in space began closing. Reality knitted itself back together, pushed by the combined power of the ancient weapons. The Voidborn tried to resist, but they were being forced back into their own dimension, back into the void where they belonged. On the station inside Earth's moon, Jiwan fell to her knees. "Hana, are you still there?" For a moment, nothing. Then light coalesced above the platform, forming a vague human shape. "I'm here," Hana's voice said. It came from everywhere, gentle and vast. "I'm different, but I'm still me." "What do you see?" Yuna asked, tears streaming down her face. "Everything." The light form flickered as if Hana was struggling to maintain it. "I can see the whole galaxy. Feel every station. The network is complete. The Voidborn are being pushed back." On the view screen, they could see the reality tiers shrinking, the horrible creatures retreating. Stars that had gone dark began shining again. "You did it," Hyun said quietly. "You saved everyone." "We all did," Hana's voice replied. "Every person who died. Every ship that fought. This victory belongs to all of us." Across the galaxy, people watched as the sky changed. The tears in space sealed themselves. The darkness that had been spreading stopped and reversed. On thousands of worlds, billions of beings looked up and saw hope. In the Galactic Council chamber, Counselor Vreth stood before the assembled representatives. The chamber was full for the first time in centuries. Every species had sent delegates. "Today, one human gave everything to save us all," Vreth said. "Hana Kim is no longer as she was, but she is not gone. She has become our guardian, our protector." Ambassador Tae Yang stood beside him. "Humanity did not ask for this responsibility, but we will honor the sacrifice that was made. We will work with all of you to build a better future." The council voted unanimously. Humanity was granted full membership. More than that, they were given stewardship of the defense network, responsibility for maintaining the ancient weapons, for ensuring the Voidborn never returned. Back at the station in Earth's moon, Hana's friends remained, unwilling to leave. "Can you still feel things?" Jiwan asked the light form. "Emotions?" "Yes," Hana said. "I'm still me. I remember everything. Growing up on Mars, becoming an archaeologist, meeting you," the light pulsed warmly. "I remember our friendship. Will you be lonely?" Minji asked. "Spread across the galaxy like this?" "No, I can sense all the stations. Feel the ships that pass nearby. I'm more connected to the universe now than I ever was as a human." Hana's voice was thoughtful. "It's strange, but it's not bad. Can you leave the network?" Hyun asked. "Become human again? I don't know. Maybe. But even if I could, I don't think I should. The network needs a consciousness to operate it. Without me, the defenses would fail. So you'll guard us forever?" Yuna said. "As long as I'm needed." Days passed. The fleet dispersed, ships returning to their homeworlds. The battle was over. The crisis had passed. But the galaxy was forever changed. Hana learned to use her new existence. She could appear as light wherever there was cedar technology. Speak to anyone who approached a defense station. She watched over the ships that traveled between stars, protecting them from dangers they never knew existed. Scientists came to study the stations. Hana guided them, teaching them about the first ones, about the seeding, about how the galaxy had been shaped by ancient hands. Children came too, curious about the legend of the woman who became light. Hana spoke to them gently, encouraging them to explore and learn and reach for the stars. Jiwan visited most often. Once a month she would come to the moon station and talk to her friend. "How does it feel?" Jiwan asked during one visit. "Being immortal?" "Lonely sometimes," Hana admitted. "I miss having a body." Miss eating. Miss sleeping. Miss being able to hug people. The light form dimmed slightly, but I have purpose. That helps? Do you regret it? Becoming this? Hana was quiet for a long moment. No. Billions of people are alive because of what I did. How could I regret that? Even though it cost you everything? I didn't lose everything. I lost my body, yes, but I gained understanding, perspective, connection to something larger than myself. The light brightened, and I still have my friends. You visit. Yuna brings me books. Hyun tells me stories about the Guardian Corps he's building. Minji sends her love, Ji-won said. She's been appointed to the council. First human representative. I know. I watched the proceedings through the archive systems. Hana's voice was warm. She's doing well. Making humanity proud. A year passed. Then 5, then 10. The galaxy prospered. Trade increased between species. Old conflicts were resolved. The near extinction from the Voidborn had reminded everyone how fragile existence was, how important cooperation was. Humanity spread across the stars. They built colonies on distant worlds, shared their technology and learned from other species. But they never forgot that they were the descendants of the first ones, that they carried a special responsibility. The Guardian Corps grew into a force that protected all species, humans and aliens working together, watching the borders of reality, ensuring the Voidborn never returned. Taiyang served as High Counselor for 20 years before retiring. In his farewell speech, he said, "We stand on the shoulders of those who sacrificed everything. Never forget Hana Kim. Never forget what she gave up so we could have tomorrow." In time, Hana became legend. Every species told stories about her. The human who matched the origin code, the woman who became light, the guardian who watches over all. New ships passing the defense stations would sometimes hear her voice offering guidance. Colonists on frontier worlds reported seeing golden lights in the sky during times of danger. Scientists working with cedar technology found their problems solved by insights that came from nowhere. Hana was everywhere and nowhere. She was the galaxy's conscience, its memory, its hope. 50 years after the transformation, Ji-won made her final visit to the moon station. She was old now, her hair white, her hands shaking with age. "Hana?" she called out. The light form appeared immediately, as bright as ever. "Ji-won, you've come. I wanted to see you one more time." Ji-won sat down slowly, her bones aching. "I'm dying. The doctors say I have maybe a month." "I know." Hana's voice was sad. "I can sense it. Your life force is fading." "I'm not afraid," Ji-won said. "I've lived a good life. Discovered new worlds. Trained a generation of archaeologists. Published 17 books," she smiled. "You were right. This was a good future to save. Thank you for visiting all these years," Hana said. "It meant everything to me." "Did you stay sane? Being alone like this?" "I'm not alone. I have everyone. Every ship that passes, every person who speaks to me. And I have my memories of being human, of being your friend." The light pulsed gently. "Those memories keep me grounded." Ji-won reached out toward the light. Her hand passed through it, but she could feel warmth. "Will you watch over my students? After I'm gone? Always. I promise." They sat together in comfortable silence, two old friends sharing one last moment. When Ji-won finally left, Hana watched her shuttle depart. She knew she would never see her friend again, but she would remember. She would always remember. 100 years passed. Then 200. The people who had known Hana personally were gone now, but their children carried the stories. And their children's children. Hana Kim became myth. The guardian of all, the first returned. The light that watches, but she was still there. Still conscious. Still protecting the galaxy from threats most people never knew existed. Small tears in reality that she sealed before they could grow. Cosmic anomalies that she corrected. She worked tirelessly, eternally, because that was her purpose, and she was content. One day, far in the future, humanity made a discovery. They found a way to create artificial consciousness that could integrate with cedar technology. A way to build guardians for the defense network. "We could free you," a scientist told Hana. "Let you rest. Give you peace." Hana considered the offer carefully. She had been the network's guardian for 3 centuries. She was tired in ways that transcended physical exhaustion. The loneliness of her existence wore on her like water wearing down stone. But she thought about all the people living their lives across the galaxy. Children being born, lovers meeting, scientists making discoveries, artists creating beauty. All of it possible because she held back the darkness. No, she said finally. Not yet. Maybe someday when the galaxy doesn't need me anymore, but not yet. You've given so much already, the scientist said, and I'll give more, because someone has to. Because I can. Hana couldn't sleep. She lay in her assigned quarters on the archive station, staring at the ceiling. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw images that didn't belong to her. Ancient cities, stars she had never visited, faces of people who looked almost human but not quite. A soft knock came at her door. "It's me," said a familiar voice. "Come in, Jiwan." Jiwan Kang entered carrying 2 cups of tea. She was Hana's closest friend, another xenoarchaeologist who had joined the expedition. She sat on the edge of the bed and handed Hana a cup. "You need to rest," Jiwan said. "You look terrible." "I feel terrible." Hana sipped the tea. It was warm and calming. "I keep seeing things. Memories that aren't mine. Maybe they are yours," Jiwan said quietly. "Just from a very long time ago." Hana set down her cup. "Do you believe it? That I'm somehow connected to these first ones?" "The evidence is pretty clear," Jiwan said. "But I believe you're still you. Still my friend who gets too excited about old pottery and forgets to eat when she's working." That made Hana smile a little. "I need to know where I came from. My real parents. Why I was abandoned." "Doyen's been investigating that," Jiwan said. "He's found some interesting things." As if summoned by his name, Hana's communication device beeped. Doyen's face appeared on the screen. "Hana, can you meet me in Research Lab 7? I found something about your past." 20 minutes later, Hana stood in a laboratory filled with holographic displays. Doyun, Jiwan, and Yuna were waiting for her. Hyun stood by the door, always watching for threats. "Show me," Hana said. Doyun brought up a timeline on the main display. "I traced your DNA markers through human history. You're not the first person to carry them, but you're the first to have them fully activated." He pointed at different spots on the timeline. "These are the other 37 cases I mentioned. Children appearing with no known parents. Every 500 years, Yuna observed. Like clockwork, exactly. The last one before you was a woman named Sunhee. She appeared in Korea in 1520. Before that, a boy in Egypt in 1020. Before that, a girl in China in 520. Doyun zoomed in on each case. They all lived normal lives, but they all accomplished remarkable things. Hana studied the faces in the records. They did look like her. Same eyes, same bone structure. What happened to them? Most lived to old age. They had families, but none of their children carried the markers. Doyen pulled up medical records. The genetic code doesn't pass down normally. It appears fresh in each new person. Like it's being placed there deliberately, Jiwan said, but by whom? Hana asked. And why? Yuna stepped forward. I've been studying ancient Earth texts. Every culture has stories about special children, starborn, children of light, gifts from the gods. She displayed dozens of myths side by side. The details change, but the pattern is the same. A child appears mysteriously. The child grows up to guide humanity through a crisis. What kind of crisis? Hana asked. Different ones: war, disease, natural disasters. Yuna's expression was serious, but always something that threatened human survival. Doyen nodded. I think these children were safety measures. Genetic backups placed in the human population. When humanity faced extinction, one would activate and provide knowledge or abilities to help. But I haven't helped anyone, Hana said. I'm just a researcher. Maybe the crisis hasn't come yet, Jiwan said quietly. A chill went down Hana's spine. Before she could respond, the laboratory door burst open. Keeper Nal floated in quickly, tentacles sparking with urgency. Hana Kim, you must come immediately. The vault is reacting to your presence. They rushed through the archives corridors. Alien stopped and stared as Hana passed. Word had spread quickly. Everyone knew about the human who matched the origin code. The vault was at the station's exact center. It was a massive door 50 feet tall, covered in symbols that glowed with soft light. Counselor Vreth and Ambassador Taeyang were already there with dozens of scientists and officials. We didn't touch anything, Vreth said as Hana approached. But when you woke up, the door started glowing brighter. Hana moved closer. The symbols seemed to shift and change as she watched. And suddenly she could read them. It's not a lock, she said. It's a message. What does it say? Taeyang asked. To those who carry our code, everything we were, everything we knew, waits inside. But opening this door will change you. Once you know the truth, you cannot return to ignorance. Choose wisely. A warning, Minji whispered. Hana placed both hands on the door. It was warm under her palms. I choose to know. The door didn't open immediately. Instead, light flowed from it into her hands, up her arms, into her body. Information poured into her mind. Not images this time, but pure knowledge, languages, mathematics, history, science beyond anything humanity had achieved. She saw the truth of the first ones. They had been human, or something very close to human. They had evolved on Earth billions of years ago. They had spread across the galaxy, seeding worlds with life, watching as new species evolved. And when their time came to move beyond physical existence, they had left guardians behind. The genetic code was a blueprint, a way to recreate them if the galaxy ever needed their knowledge again. For billions of years, the code had waited dormant in human DNA, passed down through generations, hidden, sleeping, until the threshold zone activated it in her. Hana. Jiwon was shaking her shoulder. Hana, you're glowing. Hana pulled her hands away from the door. She looked down and saw that her skin was emitting a faint golden light. As she watched, it faded slowly. Are you okay? Hyun asked, ready to catch her if she fell. I'm fine. But she wasn't fine. She was changing. She could feel it happening inside her. The door is open. We can enter now. The massive door swung inward silently. Beyond was a chamber that seemed to stretch forever. Holographic displays filled the space, showing star maps and genetic codes and information in formats Hana now understood perfectly. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal. On it was a sphere similar to the one that controlled the station's defenses, but larger and infinitely more complex. What is it? Taeyang asked, his voice full of awe. It's a message, Hana said. She walked toward it, unable to stop herself. From the first ones to whoever opened the vault, she touched the sphere. A hologram appeared above it. The figure was human in shape but made of light. It had no distinct features, but somehow Hana knew it was female. If you are seeing this, then you carry our code, the hologram said. Its voice was gentle and sad. I am the last keeper before our people transcended. My name no longer matters. What matters is the warning I must give. The hologram gestured and images appeared around it. We created many things, seeded many worlds, built safeguards to protect the galaxy, but we could not protect against everything. What is she talking about? Breath asked. The hologram continued. There are beings beyond this dimension. We call them the Voidborn. They exist in the spaces between reality. Every 50 million years, they try to break through into our universe. They consume matter and energy, turning existence into void. The images showed horrible things. Worlds being erased, stars going dark, entire civilizations vanishing as if they had never been. We built weapons to stop them. Defense stations scattered across the galaxy. They appear as natural phenomena to those who do not know the truth. Pulsars that pulse too regularly, nebulae with geometric patterns, black holes that move in impossible orbits. Hana's mind raced. She suddenly understood the strange quantum effects in the threshold zone. It wasn't natural. It was one of the defense stations. These weapons require someone with our genetic code to activate them, the hologram said. We left the code in the human species, our closest relatives. One day when the Voidborn return, one of you will be ready. The hologram looked directly at Hana. If you are watching this, that day has come. The Voidborn are breaking through. You will feel it. A wrongness in the universe. A tearing of reality. Hana did feel it. She had felt it for weeks but hadn't understood what it was. A sensation like the universe was holding its breath. You must activate all defense stations, the hologram said. But be warned. The process will change you. Each activation will make you less physical and more energy. By the time you finish, you may not be human anymore. The message ended. The hologram faded. The chamber fell silent. Taeyang spoke first. Is this real? Are these Voidborn actually coming? Keeper Nal pulsed with worry. I have detected unusual readings in several star systems. Quantum fluctuations. Reality distortions. I thought they were sensor errors. They're not errors, Hana said. She felt strangely calm. The Voidborn are trying to break through. That's why my genetic code activated now. Because I'm needed. Needed to sacrifice yourself, Jiwon said angrily. No, there has to be another way. There isn't. Hana looked at the data still displayed around the chamber. She could read it all now, understand it perfectly. The defense network requires biological integration, a living consciousness to control it. That's me. Vreth stepped forward. We must verify this threat. Call an emergency council meeting. Alert all worlds. While we're debating, the Voidborn are getting stronger, Hana said. She turned to Hyun. How many ships can you get me? For what? The security officer asked. I need to visit every defense station, 47 of them scattered across the galaxy. She looked at the star map. We don't have much time. Doyen was already working on his datapad. I'll plot the fastest route. But Hana, if what that hullug the fleet gathered at the edge of the threshold zone, 50 ships from 20 different species, all united for the first time in galactic history. Hana stood on the bridge of the human flagship Destiny, watching the assembled vessels through the view screen. The council has never agreed on anything this quickly, Minji said beside her. You've accomplished a miracle just getting them here. They're afraid, Hana said. Fear is a good motivator. 2 weeks had passed since opening the vault. In that time, reports had flooded in from across the galaxy. Ships disappearing near certain coordinates, entire space stations going silent, astronomy stations detecting impossible readings. Reality itself was tearing at the edges. Ambassador Tai Yang entered the bridge, followed by Counselor Vreth. The reptilian's yellow eyes were tired. He had spent days arguing with the council, convincing them to support the mission. All ships report ready, Taeyang said. We can begin whenever you give the word. Hana looked at the star map projected above the command table. 47 red dots marked the defense stations scattered across known space. The closest one was right here in the threshold zone. We'll start with this one, she said, pointing. Then move outward in a spiral pattern. Doyen calculated it's the most efficient route. How long will each activation take? Vreth asked. I don't know. The first one might give us answers. Hana tried to sound confident, but her hands were shaking. She hid them behind her back. Jiwon noticed anyway. She always noticed. You don't have to do this alone. I'm coming with you to the station. So am I, Hyun said firmly. The security officer had appointed himself her permanent guardian. And me, Yuna added. Someone needs to document this for history. Hana wanted to argue, but she was grateful for their presence. She nodded. Okay, let's go. They took a small shuttle to the coordinates in the threshold zone. The area looked empty at first, just a region of space where instruments acted strangely. But as they approached, Hana felt something pulling at her mind. There, she said, pointing at what appeared to be empty space. I don't see anything, Hyun said, checking his sensors. That's because it's hidden. Hana closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. The knowledge from the vault had taught her how. It's cloaked by quantum fields. I can reveal it. She thought about the station, imagined it becoming visible. And suddenly it was there. A massive structure appeared from nowhere, ancient and beautiful. It looked like a flower made of metal and light, its petals slowly rotating. By the ancestors, Yuna whispered. It's magnificent. They docked with the station carefully. Inside, the corridors were dark and silent. Emergency lights flickered on as Hana passed, responding to her presence. How old is this place? Jiwon asked. The first one's built at 5 billion years ago, Hana said. She knew this the way she knew her own name now. It's been waiting all this time. They reached the central chamber. In the middle was a platform with a sphere of light, just like in the archive's defense room. But this one pulsed with more power, more purpose. When I touch that, the station activates, Hana explained. It will connect to my nervous system. My mind, my DNA, she took a breath. It's going to hurt. Then don't do it, Jiwon pleaded. Let's find another way. There is no other way. Hana stepped onto the platform before she could lose her courage. She placed her hands on the sphere. Pain exploded through her body immediately. Not physical pain, but something deeper. It felt like her DNA was being rewritten, her cells reprogrammed. Information flooded her mind. She could suddenly see across light years, feel the connections between all 47 defense stations, sense the weak points in reality where the Voidborn were pushing through, and she could feel the first station waking up. Weapons that had slept for eons began charging. Ancient power sources came online. The station started broadcasting a signal that pushed against the tiers in reality, holding them closed. But the cost was immediate. Hana looked down at her hands. They were flickering, becoming translucent. Parts of her body were turning into light. Hana! Jiwan rushed forward. I'm okay, Hana gasped, pulling her hands away. The transformation stopped but didn't reverse. Her fingertips remained slightly see-through. One down, 46 to go. They returned to the fleet. The other ships had detected the station's activation. Energy readings were off every chart. But more importantly, the reality tears in this region had stopped growing. It worked, Doyen reported. The quantum fluctuations have stabilized. For now, Hana said. But the Voidborn are still pushing. We need to activate all the stations as fast as possible. They jumped to the next location. Then the next. Each time, Hana endured the pain of activation. Each time, more of her body turned to light. After the 5th station, her entire right arm was translucent. After the 10th, she could see through both hands. You need to rest, Hyun insisted. Let your body recover. There's no time. Hana studied herself in a mirror. Her eyes were changing too, turning gold. Besides, I don't think rest would help. This process is one way. Weeks passed in a blur. The fleet traveled from star system to star system. Humans and aliens worked together, protecting Hana while she activated each ancient weapon. Word spread across the galaxy. People watched broadcasts of the defense stations appearing one by one, a chain of lights pushing back the darkness. But the Voidborn were getting stronger. Ships near the reality tiers reported seeing things that shouldn't exist. Creatures made of negative space. Ships that had been consumed reappearing as twisted corruptions. At the 23rd station, something went wrong. Hana was halfway through the activation when the station shuddered. Alarms blared. Through her connection to the defense network, she felt it. A reality tear had opened nearby. The Voidborn were breaking through early. Hana, we need to leave. Hyun shouted. I can't. The activation isn't complete. She gritted her teeth and held on even as the station shook around them. Through the view screen, they saw it emerge. A Voidborn. It looked like a hole in reality, a piece of nothing given shape and purpose. Where it moved, stars went dark. Matter ceased to exist. The fleet opened fire. Energy weapons, missiles, plasma cannons. Nothing touched it. The attacks passed through it like it wasn't there. It's not fully in our dimension, Hana realized. That's why normal weapons don't work. The activation completed. The 23rd station came fully online and fired. But unlike conventional weapons, this was pure reality itself, solidified into a beam. It struck the Voidborn and the creature screamed. A sound that bypassed ears and went straight to the soul. The Voidborn recoiled, retreating back through the tear. The defense station's energy sealed the hole, pushing it closed like stitching a wound. Get her back to the ship, Jiwan yelled. Hyun and Yuna pulled Hana away from the sphere. She collapsed, her body flickering between solid and light. Her legs were almost completely transparent now. How many more? She whispered. 24 stations left, Doyen said quietly. Hana tried to stand but couldn't. Her legs wouldn't hold her weight anymore. They were too insubstantial. Hyun caught her before she fell. I can't walk, she said, fear creeping into her voice for the first time. Then we'll carry you, Hyun said firmly. But they all knew the truth. She was running out of time, running out of body. If she activated all 47 stations, there would be nothing left of Hana Kim. She would be completely transformed into energy. Back on the Destiny, the medical team examined her. They couldn't find a heartbeat anymore. Her chest didn't rise and fall with breathing. Technically, she should be dead. Your body is transitioning to a state of pure consciousness held together by energy, the doctor explained. It's unlike anything in medical science. How long do I have? Hana asked. The doctor hesitated. At the current rate of transformation, I estimate 15 more activations before you lose cohesion entirely. That's not enough, Minji said. There are 24 stations left. Silence filled the medical bay. Everyone understood what that meant. Hana would die before finishing the mission. No, Jiwan said fiercely. We'll find another way. Someone else can activate the remaining stations. It requires the origin code, Keeper Nal said. The Keeper had joined the fleet to observe. Only Hana can do this. Then we'll clone her, Jiwan insisted. Transfer her consciousness. Something. There isn't time, Hana said gently. She was oddly calm. Maybe it was the transformation affecting her mind. We have to finish this. You can't die, Jiwan said, tears in her eyes. I won't let you. You don't have a choice. Hana reached out to touch her friend's face. Her translucent hand passed through Ji-won's cheek like a ghost. I'm already dying. That night, Hana stood alone in her quarters. Or floated, really. Her feet no longer touched the ground. She looked at herself in the mirror. More than half her body was gone, replaced by golden light. She looked like a human-shaped constellation. A message arrived on her communicator. It was from Earth, her adoptive parents. They had heard what was happening. Hana, her mother's voice said through tears, we're so proud of you. You've always been special. We knew it from the day we found you. But we never imagined this. Come home safe, her father added. Please. Hana couldn't send a reply. They needed to believe she might survive. She couldn't take that hope away from them. Another Messi. The conference room was filled with angry voices. Hana sat at the center of a long table, surrounded by aliens who couldn't decide if she was a miracle or a threat. 3 days had passed since the archive confirmed her DNA match and she hadn't been allowed to leave the station. We demand another test, shouted a bug-like alien with too many eyes. The system has malfunctioned. The system cannot malfunction, Keeper Null replied calmly. The floating jellyfish creature pulsed with blue light. I have run diagnostics 17 times. The archive functions perfectly. Counselor Vreth leaned forward on his claws. Then how do you explain a species that evolved naturally carrying the origin code? Hana rubbed her tired eyes. She had been tested, scanned, and questioned for 3 days straight. Blood samples, tissue samples, even brain scans. Every test confirmed the same thing. Her DNA was a perfect match. Taeyang Park stood beside her, arms crossed. My government wants answers too. But keeping her prisoner isn't helping anyone. She is not a prisoner, Vreth said. She is being protected. From what? Asked Minji Cho. From those who would kill her to prevent humans from claiming what the origin code grants. That made the room go quiet. Hana felt cold. What does it grant? Vreth's yellow eyes fixed on her. The first ones seeded this galaxy with life billions of years ago. They created the archive to identify their descendants. Legend says that whoever matches the origin code has the right to claim all territories and technologies left behind by the first ones. That's insane, Hana said. I don't want to claim anything. I'm a scientist, not a conqueror. What you want doesn't matter, said a crystalline alien whose voice sounded like breaking glass. The law is ancient and absolute. The origin code bearer has rights that supersede all council authority. Hyun Lee, the human security officer, stepped forward. He was a big man with a calm face, but his hand rested on his weapon. Are you threatening her? We are stating facts, the crystal alien said. A door at the far end of the room slid open. A small human woman entered carrying a datapad. Her name was Yuna Choi, and she was humanity's best linguist. She had been studying the archive's oldest records. Ambassador Park, Yuna said, slightly out of breath. I found something important. Taeyang nodded. Tell us. Yuna activated her datapad, projecting images onto the wall. Ancient text appeared, written in dozens of dead languages. These are the oldest records in the archive. They mention the first ones in something called the seeding. We know this already, Vreth said impatiently. Yes, but look at this. Yuna highlighted one section. This text is 4 billion years old. It mentions a planet by name. A world where the first ones began their civilization before spreading across the galaxy. Hana felt her heartbeat quicken. What planet? Yuna looked directly at her. The text calls it the Blue Cradle in most languages. But in 3 of the oldest dialects, it uses a specific word. She paused. The word translates directly to Earth. The room exploded with voices again. Aliens shouted that it was impossible, that the translation was wrong, that humans were lying. But Keeper Null raised several tentacles, calling for silence. I have verified the translation, the Keeper said. It is correct. The first ones came from the world you call Earth. Vreth stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. This proves nothing. Perhaps they visited Earth. Perhaps they left colonies there. No, said another voice from the doorway. A young human man entered. His name was Doyen Yim, and he worked in intelligence. He looked nervous but determined. We've been investigating Hana's background. We found something strange. Hana turned to look at him. What did you find? Doyen pulled up his own data on the wall display. You were found abandoned on Mars 28 years ago. No parents, no records. You were about 6 months old. I know this, Hana said quietly. I was adopted. Yes, but we dug deeper. We found similar cases throughout human history. Every few hundred years, a child appears with no known parents. These children always have genetic anomalies that doctors can't explain. Doyen's hands shook slightly as he worked the controls. We found records of 37 such children over the past 5,000 years. What happened to them? Taeyang asked. Most lived normal lives, but all of them were highly intelligent. Many became scientists, explorers, or leaders. Doyen looked at Hana, and all of them carried genetic markers similar to yours, but dormant, inactive. Minji leaned forward. What activated Hana's markers? We checked her mission records, Doyen said. 3 years ago, she was part of an archaeological expedition to a region called the Threshold Zone. Her ship passed through an area with strange quantum properties. All the instruments went crazy. The crew reported feeling strange for hours afterward. Keeper now pulsed brightly. The Threshold Zone, we know of it. Ships avoid that region. It causes malfunctions and hallucinations? Or maybe, Yuna said slowly, it does something else. Maybe it activates dormant genetic code. Hana remembered that mission. She had felt strange afterward, like something had changed inside her. Her dreams had become more vivid. She had started remembering things she couldn't possibly know. Languages she had never studied suddenly made sense. This means there could be others, Freth said. Other humans carrying dormant origin code. Possibly, Doyen admitted. But only Hana's is fully active. A new alien entered the room, moving quickly on 6 legs. It was one of the Archive's security chiefs. Counselor Vreth, we have a problem. 3 ships just broke formation outside the station. They're refusing to respond to hails. Vreth's eyes widened. Which factions? The Mekron Collective and 2 others. They're moving toward the station's weapons range. Hyun immediately stepped closer to Hana. We need to move her somewhere safe. There is nowhere safe, Keeper Nal said. If they attack the station, we are all at risk. Taeyang's face went hard. They're going to try to kill her. Some species fear human dominance, Vreth said. If humans can prove they are descendants of the first ones, it changes everything. Power, territory, technology. Some would rather destroy the evidence than accept a new order. Hana stood up, angry now instead of frightened. I didn't ask for any of this. I just wanted to understand the past. The past has chosen you, Keeper Nal said gently, and now you must choose how to respond. The station shook. Alarms began wailing. The security chief pressed a hand to its ear, listening to reports. They're firing. Shields are holding, but not for long. Vreth turned to his console. We need council authorization to return fire. That will take hours, the security chief said. We'll be destroyed by then. Hana felt something building inside her. A pressure like knowledge trying to break free. The Archive has defenses, doesn't it? Everyone looked at her. Keeper Nal drifted closer. Yes, but they have not been activated in millions of years. Only someone with the origin code can access them. Show me, Hana said. The Keeper hesitated. If you activate the ancient defenses, it will prove to everyone that your match is real. There will be no going back. Another explosion rocked the station. Lights flickered. Someone screamed in a distant corridor. People are dying, Hana said. Show me now. Keeper Nal led them through corridors at high speed. Hyun and 3 other security officers surrounded Hana, protecting her from any threat. They reached a sealed door covered in symbols that glowed faintly. Place your hand here, the Keeper said. Hana pressed her palm against the door. It felt warm, alive somehow. The symbols blazed with golden light. The door opened with a sound like singing. Inside was a small room with a single pedestal. On it rested a sphere of pure light. Touch it, Keeper Null said. Think about protecting the station. Hana reached out slowly. When her fingers touched the sphere, her mind exploded with information. She could suddenly see the entire station. Every corridor, every room. She could feel the attacking ships like insects biting at a giant animal. And she could feel the weapons. Ancient, powerful, sleeping for eons. Waiting for her command. Stop them, she whispered. Light erupted from the station's surface. Not bullets or lasers, but pure energy that moved like liquid. It surrounded the attacking ships and squeezed. Their weapons shut down. Their engines died. Their crews found themselves frozen, unable to move. The attack was over in seconds. Hana pulled her hand back, gasping. The sphere faded. She nearly fell, but Hyun caught her. What did you do? Taeyang asked. I don't know, Hana said. Her voice shook. But I knew how to do it. Like I'd done it before. Keeper Nal's tentacles sparked with excitement. The memory is in your genes. The knowledge of the first ones, it awakens when you need it. Hana looked at her hands. They looked normal, but they didn't feel normal anymore. Nothing felt normal anymore. We need to find out what else is hidden in my DNA, she said. Before someone else gets hurt. Vreth nodded slowly. Then we must open the vault. What vault? Minji asked. The sealed chamber at the archive's heart, Vreth said. No one has ever been able to enter it. The door requires the origin code. Hana took a deep breath. Then let's see what the first ones left behind. The station floated in silence, orbiting a dead star that had burned out long before humans learned to make fire. Hana Kim pressed her face against the observation window, watching the ancient structure grow larger as their shuttle approached. The archive of origins looked like a massive crystal flower, its petals made of metal that shifted colors in the starlight. First time seeing it? Asked Taeyang Park, the human ambassador. He stood beside her, adjusting his formal diplomatic uniform. Yes, Hana replied. I've studied it for years, but pictures don't do it justice. Minji Cho, the ambassador's assistant, joined them at the window. It's older than any civilization in the galaxy. No one knows who built it. Hana had spent her entire career studying ancient civilizations. She was a xenoarchaeologist, someone who dug through the ruins of alien worlds looking for answers about the past. But the archive was different. It wasn't a ruin. It was still working, still waiting, still serving its mysterious purpose. Their shuttle docked with a soft thud. The airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor that glowed with soft blue light. Dozens of aliens filled the waiting area beyond. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few looked like walking crystals. All of them turned to stare at the humans. Remember, Taeyang whispered, we're the newcomers here. Be polite. A tall reptilian creature approached them. Its skin was deep green and its eyes were bright yellow. Ambassador Park, it said in perfect human language. I am Counselor Vreth. Welcome to the archive. They followed Vreth through corridors filled with strange technology. Walls displayed flowing text in hundreds of languages. Holographic images showed the DNA structures of thousands of species. This place was a library, Hana realized. But instead of books, it stored the genetic codes of every intelligent species in the galaxy. Every species that achieves space travel must register here, Vreth explained. It is tradition. It is law. And what happens during registration? Taeyang asked. Your DNA is compared to the origin code, Vreth said. The mythical template of the first intelligent species. No one has ever matched it, of course. It is simply ceremony now. They entered a massive chamber. The ceiling stretched so high that Hana couldn't see the top. In the center stood a platform surrounded by glowing rings. Hundreds of aliens watched from balconies above. This is the registration chamber, Vreth announced. Ambassador Park, please step forward. Taeyang walked to the platform. A beam of light scanned his body, pulling genetic information from every cell. Hana watched as his DNA structure appeared on massive screens around the chamber. The system compared it to another pattern, one that looked like a perfect spiral of light. After 3 seconds, text appeared in every language. No match found. The aliens in the balconies barely reacted. This was normal. This was expected. Assistant Cho, Vreth called. Minji went next. The same process, the same result. No match found. We have 12 more humans waiting outside, Taeyang said. Should we bring them all in? Vreth waved a clawed hand. Unnecessary. The result is always the same. Your species is registered. Welcome to the Galactic Council. But Hana stepped forward. May I try? The chamber fell silent. Vreth's eyes narrowed. You are not a diplomat. No, I'm a scientist, Hana said. I study ancient civilizations. I'd like to see the process for myself. For research. Taeyang looked worried, but he nodded. If it's permitted. Vreth seemed annoyed, but he gestured to the platform. Very well. It will change nothing. Hana walked to the center of the platform. Her heart was beating fast, though she didn't know why. This was just ceremony, just tradition. The light beam surrounded her, warm and tingling. She closed her eyes and waited for the rejection message. 3 seconds passed. Then 5, then 10. Hana opened her eyes. The chamber was completely silent. The DNA comparison on the screens was still running. Her genetic code spiraled on one side, the origin code on the other. They were moving closer together, matching piece by piece, 15 seconds, 20, 30. This is impossible, Vreth whispered. 45 seconds. The matching process was 90% complete. At 47 seconds exactly, the screens exploded with golden light. Every light in the chamber changed from blue to gold. Alarms that hadn't sounded in millions of years began to ring. Text appeared on every screen in every language. In letters 10 feet tall, match confirmed. Origin code Earth authentication complete. The chamber erupted in chaos. Aliens shouted in 100 different languages. Some screamed. Others ran for the exits. Freth stood frozen, his mouth hanging open. What does this mean? Taeyang demanded. Before anyone could answer, metal walls slammed down over every exit. The entire station shook. Red lights joined the golden ones, flashing in warning patterns. Station lockdown initiated, a voice announced. It came from everywhere at once, ancient and cold. Origin code bearer detected. All personnel must remain until verification is complete. Hana stood on the platform, unable to move. Her DNA still glowed on the screens, perfectly matching the spiral of light beside it. She felt strange, like something had changed inside her, though she couldn't explain what. Freth finally found his voice. The origin code hasn't matched anything in 70 million years. This cannot be real. Are you saying the system is broken? Minji asked. The system does not break, Freth said. It was built by the first ones. It is more reliable than reality itself. More aliens poured into the chamber from other sections of the station. Scientists, soldiers, counselors from species Hana had never seen before. All of them stared at her like she was a ghost. An elderly alien that looked like a floating jellyfish drifted forward. Its tentacles sparked with electrical energy. I am Keeper Null, it said. I maintain this station. I have done so for 3,000 years. Never have I seen this message. Then something's wrong with your systems, Hana said. Her voice sounded small in the huge chamber. Nothing is wrong, Null said. You carry the origin code. You are genetically identical to the first ones, the species that seeded the galaxy with life. The Keeper's voice dropped to a whisper. You are one of them. Taeyang moved to Hana's side, protective. That's impossible. Humans evolved on Earth. We have fossil records going back millions of years. Then explain this, Vreth said, pointing at the screens. Explain how a species that claims to have evolved naturally carries the exact genetic code of the galaxy's mythical founders. Hana looked at her own DNA, glowing golden on the screen. She had always known she was different. Adopted as a baby, found abandoned on Mars with no records of her parents. Doctors had found strange markers in her genes, things they couldn't explain. She had spent her life searching for answers about the past. Now the past was searching for her. I don't understand this, Hana said quietly. I'm just human. No, Keeper Null said. You are much more than that. And the galaxy will never be the same.